Imagine a society in which the concept of marriage is untethered from the invisible strings of geography, state decree, or inherited custom. A society governed by verarchy, where the rule of law is rooted not in tradition or power, but in the universal principles of reason and consent. In this world, marriage is not a ceremony prescribed by the location of your birth or the expectations of your community. Instead, it is a contract meticulously crafted by sovereign individuals, each agreement as unique and intentional as the people entering into it. Here, the foundation of every marital union is built upon the bedrock of rational law, with the central tenets of non-preponderance and informed consent guiding every decision and clause. At the heart of Verarchy's approach is the principle of universal non-preponderance. No contract, especially not one as consequential as marriage, may create an unjust imbalance. While it is natural for individuals to bring their own strengths, resources, and desires into a relationship, these differences cannot be leveraged to give one partner undue power or advantage. Instead, the marriage contract must be a carefully negotiated balance, counterpoising inequalities so that neither side emerges dominant or disadvantaged. Every term, from the division of resources and responsibilities to the details of daily life, must be agreed upon by both parties as equals. In Verarchy, customization is not only allowed, it is required. There can be no one-size-fits-all approach, no default roles assigned by gender, tradition, or law. Every aspect of the relationship must be considered, discussed, and documented, always with an eye toward fairness and mutual respect. Yet, no contract under Verarchy is allowed to become a lifelong trap. The principle of escapability ensures that every agreement, marriage included, must provide a clear, just, and previously agreed-upon pathway for dissolution. Even those who choose to commit until death must face the reality that circumstances and people change. The consequences of leaving, whether financial, emotional, or practical, must be spelled out in advance, with penalties or divisions rationally justified and proportionate to the breach of contract. This is not a loophole for abandonment, but a safeguard against the injustice of forced unions. The ability to exit, coupled with transparent consequences, protects both parties and preserves the spirit of free and continued consent. When it comes to the possibility of parenthood, Verarchy recognizes the profound shift in responsibility that accompanies the creation of new life. If a couple has not taken permanent steps to prevent conception, their marriage contract must include a binding agreement regarding parenthood, a stewardship covenant. This covenant is not optional or ceremonial. It is a legal and moral obligation. Should pregnancy occur, both parties are required to step into the role of guardianship, with all the education and preparation that entails. The stewardship covenant mandates that prospective parents must not only agree to care for their child, but must also undergo thorough training in the principles of rational, non-coercive parenting. This training covers child development, the limits of parental authority, and the ethical boundaries that protect the child's sovereignty. Verarchy's standards for parenting are uncompromising. Parents are strictly prohibited from engaging in any behavior that undermines the developing autonomy of the child. This includes all forms of corporal punishment, emotional abuse, religious indoctrination, non-consensual body modifications, or any coercion that strips the child of their right to informed, unpressured choice. While parents retain their own freedoms, those freedoms end where the child's personhood begins. Sharing beliefs is permitted, enforcing them is not. Punishment for dissent, whether physical or psychological, is forbidden. Children under Verarchy are not extensions of their parents. They are sovereign individuals, entitled to protection, guidance, and respect. The parenting model, legally recognized and required under Verarchy, is authoritative, rather than authoritarian or permissive. Parents set boundaries and provide guidance, but always with explanations, choices, and respect for the child's developing reasoning. Ongoing education is not an option. It is a requirement. Prospective spouses must complete modules on the legal and practical realities of marriage, conflict resolution, and the responsibilities of parenthood. Before a union is formalized, both parties must study the contract, discuss every clause, and demonstrate their understanding. There is no room for impulsive commitments or coercion masked as tradition. When parenthood becomes imminent, further education is compulsory. Pregnant couples must participate in stewardship programs designed to ensure no child is born into ignorance or neglect. As scientific understanding evolves, so too do the educational requirements, with periodic reviews and updates mandated throughout the child's upbringing. Should a parent fall short, whether through neglect, ignorance, or willful violation, interventions, support plans, or if necessary, reassignment of stewardship are not just possible, but required. Divorce, though always a possibility, is never left to chance. Every marriage contract includes detailed, pre-agreed plans for the division of property, custody of children, relocation, and the handling of documented abuse or neglect. The interests and well-being of children are paramount. Their voices must be heard, and their preferences considered according to their maturity and understanding. If abuse is alleged or proven, the contract specifies immediate steps: therapy, supervised visitation, resource freezes, or temporary separation, designed to protect the vulnerable and minimize chaos or escalation. Perhaps most importantly, Verarchy's framework for marriage and parenting is fiercely protective of individual autonomy. No marriage may be arranged, imposed, or dictated by any authority, be it religious, familial, or cultural. Consent must be fully informed, uncoerced, and freely given by every participant. Even in complex arrangements, such as polygamous unions, each individual's understanding and agreement are essential, and every safeguard against imbalance or exploitation must be in place. Marriage in Verarchy is not a rite of passage or a social expectation. It is a deliberate, deeply personal, and legally serious agreement. It cannot be assumed, inherited, or copied from the past. It must be constructed from the ground up, with the full participation, education, and consent of all involved. In this system, marriage fulfills its highest purpose, creating a foundation of stability, protection, and respect that allows sovereign individuals, and especially children, to thrive. By honoring these principles, Verarchy reimagines marriage not as an instrument of control, but as a partnership rooted in equality, freedom, and rational care for all.